Previously on Snow, the Twilight Knight. Snow is not a Twilight Knight yet. He's fighting with bare hands. Our first enemy was Lion. We fought and we won. Yay! They went back to the settlement, but Shade, the companion of Snow, has turned into the stone. Snow swore to protect Shade and the settlement, and the story begins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that alarm button. Hello YouTube, Jace here from the Lantern Side Story, and welcome back to the Kingdom Death story, Snow, the Twilight Knight. In this episode, we'll be seeing our first settlement phase, and again, if you don't know what Kingdom Death is, or new to the channel, click on this card to see the introduction video that I made. Okay, before we start, I want to introduce our survivors. We already know our first four. Shade is an archivist from the Order of Twilight Knight. Archivist's job is to record the lost knowledge after the fall of Brand Library, and the Twilight Knight is like a companion or bodyguard. From the day she took Snow into the Order, she was his mentor, and they were traveling together ever since. Now, the lady who took Snow to the Lantern Horde is Ella. She's like a leader, or the lady of the house. If there's a problem in the settlement, you go talk to her. If there is something important to decide, you go talk to her. If you need some emotional and sentimental support, you go talk to her. And she's always there with a smile of confidence on her face. They are Oswaldo and Alexander, and as you can guess from their hair colors, they are brothers. Though their personality and physique are quite different, they somehow walk a similar path in their life. And finally, there's a trio, Cecilia, Lily, and Pearl. Lily is a person with energy and excitement. She has the charm that makes the people around her smile. Pearl is a more quiet one who keeps things to herself, and Cecilia is like an older sister who watches over them. There is a reason why I'm naming and introducing these characters. I borrowed this idea from the Pokemon games. If you are familiar with Pokemon, there is a self-imposed hardcore rule called the Nuzlocke Challenge. In this challenge, you can only capture the first Pokemon you meet in each location, and if they lose all their health during the fight, they die. And it recommends you to name the Pokemon to make you more attached to them, so that when you lose them, you feel more terrible. I love the idea, and here are our survivors with their names and personalities waiting for the butchering fate of the Kingdom Death monster. Now let's start the show, shall we? Snow had to tell them that they have to hunt the monsters to survive in this world, and we named our settlement Dawnwatch, meaning we'll watch the darkness until the dawn comes. What is dawn? Ivory asked. It is the coming of the light, a light that is so bright, even brighter than the lanterns, that shines on all of us. Well, at least that's what I heard. But it wasn't light that came to our settlement today. Instead, it was a storm. Standing on the edge of the settlement, Eleanor spotted flickering lights followed by a weird roar of the beast, and the world surrounding them roared like an echo. Lightning struck the land, and suddenly Eleanor rushed into the pouring rain. Survivors cried her name, but the voice was lost amid the deafening sound of rain. Luckily, Eleanor returned after a few minutes. I saw a giant beast that looks like a baby with a light purple thing on their head. That must be a gore, born someone's storm during their mating season. Another monster to hunt. I like it. Oh, maybe next time. First, we gotta deal with the rain. I found some broken trees on the way. Let's make some shelter with it. Eleanor led them to the trees that were struck by lightning. Survivors brought the roots back to the Dawnwatch and built the hovel with it. When the weather cleared up for a while, they also built 3 new buildings, Bonesmith, Skinnery, and the Organ Grinder, to process the resources they earned. And there they made the first weapons and armors, Bone Blade, Bone Dart, Rawhide Vest, and the Headband. And the most important among those was the Rawhide Headband. It has the power to pierce through the future and read the monster's next attack. It even has the power to manipulate its attacks to our favor. We will have to see how it works during the showdown. They also had enough resources to spend on innovation, to learn new skills and technology. They had two options, the ammonia or dark magic they somehow picked up, the shadow dancing. Snow knew that the ammonia is important in later development, but the shadow dancing seemed so potent. He had to admit that the mysteriousness of it does have some appeal. After a long discussion, they decide to work on the shadow dancing. Unfortunately, only the dead can awake this ritual, and for now, they just have to wait. And death came sooner than they expected. Eleanor wanted a baby to inherit her, for she knew that her permanent injury might bring her down, and Oswaldo volunteered. With the blessing from other survivors, they drank the potion of love. However, Eleanor and her baby perished during the birth, and Oswaldo, who was traumatized from the event, was enfeebled from the despair. The first death of the settlement and the death of a hero. They have two options to deal with the first death. They can either salvage her body for resources, or they can bury her. Oswaldo stood against the monstrosity, and everyone agreed on making grave. When they buried her, all of them gathered around her grave to say farewell, and Snow picked up a stone to mark the grave with the memory of her, and he cherished the stone as a token of luck. With the number of survivors dwindled to 9, others tried to give birth. Alas, it seemed the bad luck hasn't left the settlement. Oswaldo and Lily tried next, but the baby didn't make it. From the despair, Oswaldo and Lily left the settlement to seek foreseeable death in the darkness. The remaining people of Dunwatch had to make an empty grave with their names. Cecilia and Alexander, who lost their siblings together, also tried, but Cecilia followed Eleanor's path, and Alexander, the brother of Oswaldo, also became the enfeebled. And we were down to 6 survivors. That means if we lose 2 more, we will only have 1 party left to hunt the monster. Despair pressed heavy on their heart and heavier on Snow. And Ella, with her usual confidence on her face, sat next to Snow. Hey, what do you say we try, you and me? I don't know. If we lose any more survivors, I don't think I can stay sane anymore. Don't worry, honey, I won't die. And Ella proved her words. Between Snow and Ella, Angel was born. Finally, the first baby. Ella held Angel in her arms and cried. I thought you were confident, Snow asked. And Ella just laughed. The time passed by, and you should know that the Lantern Horde bends the time in strange ways. People who live near its light do not grow old that easy. Only the hardship during the hunt make them grow older and stronger. But the time works differently for the young. They grow fast, at a remarkable speed until they grow to be a warrior capable of handling themselves. People of Dunwatch had 2 choices. Either they raised a baby with the affection or without mercy. And after the long death, they decided to raise the future generation with love and protection. And our first baby, Angel, was blessed with high understanding, and she became a strategist. Also, she has shown great talent with accuracy. She quickly became an idol of the settlement. A disastrous start, yes, but at least there is a glimpse of hope. And the Lantern year was ending. The resources were running out. It's time to hunt again. Snow led the hunt, carrying a founding stone and the Twilight sword that he cannot use yet. Ricardo joined them as a veteran who survived the first battle, and this time he's wielding the bone sword. Pearl also joined the party, with the founding stone on her hand. I want to do something too, for all of us. Well, you're always welcome. And the last was Angel. She wore the rawhide vest and headband and armed with the bone darts, and 4 of them ventured into the darkness of Kingdom Death. Alright, Jay's back here. How'd you like it? If you like the show, please press like, subscribe, and hit that alarm button. And also, please share your thoughts on the comments. It helps me tremendously. Anyway, let me explain some of the rules to help you understand. This campaign is running with following special rules. 1. I start with a Twilight Knight who doesn't retire or go away. 2. The Twilight Knight must always depart to hunt every year. 3. When Twilight Knight dies, it's game over. 4. When he is forced to die during hunt event or settlement event, and I mean forced as forced by a random dice rather than my choice, a random survivor will die in his place, and that is the rule. For the Kingdom Death Monster players, I hope you understand that I'm new to the game and there are mountains of errors in my gameplay. I keep the log of the playthrough after the game, and the amount of errors that I discover later thus frustrates me a lot. But I am learning it, and I will try to get better to make fewer errors in the future, so please bear that in mind. Also, this story does not strictly follow the lore of the game. Or, I should say, I make up some background settings here and there because Kingdom Death Monster is not that kind in explaining its lore, and there are a lot of empty parts in the lore that our imagination can fill in. So that's what I'm doing in this series. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks again for watching, and I'll be seeing you next time.